Hello my dear friends, and welcome back to another video. It's that time of the week once again. The Bad Batch Season 2 Episode 3 drops tomorrow, or if you're watching this later in the day, then in just a few hours time. Today we're going to do what I always do before episodes of Star Wars drop, a full preview for the episode, with what to expect, what we know, as well as the latest news and information about the episode. Before we dive into it though guys, please be sure to hit that big red subscribe button if you've not done so, and why not give that bell a good old tickle to be alerted every time that I post a new video. But today there's going to be no jibber jabber, let's dive straight into this. Now just before we talk about the preview specifically, let's go through some Bad Batch news. We have a new Sid poster. I think she's going to be massively important this season, because her role is different compared to season 1. It's not just about mercenary missions, but it's a race against time. She's trying to get the Bad Batch to make enough money to free themselves, to buy their freedom, before the Empire comes to Ord Mantell. And her fate in the future is also uncertain. I'm also very interested in Wanda Sykes' character Fee Genoa, who as we were told is a pirate. Over the last few hours we've also had a few opinion pieces. One is about Tech, and how in some ways he is similar to Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory, and CBR hope he'll be given a love interest in the form of Fee. She briefly flirted with him in episode 1. We also have some comments from the creators, who basically said they want to leave some things open-ended. They want to leave some things as a mystery, most notably where the Bad Batch is during the original trilogy. They say they want to be flexible with that timeline, and in my opinion, this is teasing their appearance in another show or a new spin-off. Let's wait and see. And so now guys, let's talk about episode 3 tomorrow. Season 2 Episode 3 is going to be tonally very different to the first 2 episodes last week. We know this from comments made by D. Bradley Baker, who if you remember also mentioned a meaningful and heartbreaking journey for Crosshair. Tomorrow's episode is titled The Solitary Clone, and ever since StarWars.com announced the Season 2 titles, we've all had varying theories on who this might be about, but from comments made by the reviewers, as well as the creators on the show, this one's going to be about Crosshair, but it might also bring in Commander Cody. In the Season 2 trailer, as well as in the exclusive footage shown at Star Wars Celebration, the two of them spoke by the Clone Memorial. Now we don't know if that's going to be tomorrow though, but in either case, Crosshair was deliberately missing from the first 2 episodes, and Episode 3 looks very likely to reintroduce him, show us what he's been up to and where he's been. He is still loyal to the Empire, and at the end of Episode 2, we learn from Rampart that Crosshair did not tell him the Batch survived Camino, because he's baffled when Wilco tells him that he saw the Batch on Sereno. Rest in peace Wilco, you did the right thing. And this brings me on to my next point. The inhibitor chips are wearing off. Wilco defined Rampart's orders, and I believe this is only the start of the transition between clones and conscripted recruits on a larger scale. We saw the beginning of this in Season 1 with War Mantle, but now the Empire is going to realise the clones are too defective and too defiant if their chips don't work. And bear in mind we had a tease from the creators that it's the clones who begin this tension, this battle. Much later in the season, there is going to be a clone uprising, a rebellion of sorts where clones who stay loyal to the Empire are going to rise up against the Imperial machine. Hauser was one of those who began this in Season 1, and now we're going to see more and more clones do this, probably even Cody. And this puts Crosshair in a very interesting position indeed, because he supposedly doesn't have his chip anymore, and Jennifer Corbett said this is definitive. He's not playing coy, he is on the Empire's side by his own free will, but hopefully at some stage he will wake up and smell the coffee when the Empire starts treating him like dirt, especially Rampart, who now knows that Crosshair lied, unless he just made the assumption. In either case, Crosshair didn't tell Rampart his brother survived. Rampart is probably going to admonish him. Does Crosshair avoiding telling Rampart signal hope for his future? The other day, D. Bradley Baker did speak about redemption and morality. Crosshair's gonna have to make some very difficult decisions, but the most important question is where is he gonna end up by the end of the season? What dilemmas is he going to face? And in this way, is Crosshair going to be the most well-developed character of the season? And another question, will his brother still try to convince him? I think so, but they've got their work cut out for them. Running into an unpredictable Crosshair at this stage is not the best idea. They're trying to lay low and avoid the Empire at all costs. But now that Rampart knows Clone Force 99 survived, is he going to send out Crosshair again to kill them? I'm gonna say no, because Crosshair is now considered untrustworthy, to the point where Rampart's going to assemble a separate team made up of non-clone recruits to get the job done. That's my prediction. It's going to be a secret mission away from the eyes of Tarkin, because if Tarkin finds out Rampart failed, there are going to be some pretty dire consequences, as he told Wilco in episode 2. I don't know about you, my dear Meglorians, but I think Tarkin is going to kill Rampart by the end of the season. I feel as though one way or another, Rampart is biting the bullet, and eventually Tarkin will find out. But tomorrow, I think we're in for an emotional episode. The solitary clone sounds like a deep dive into the psyche of our beloved fallen brother, the personal struggles he faces as a clone, being viewed as disposable, despite putting on a brave face and an outwardly hostile persona. He's got a lot to reckon with and weigh out, but at this early stage of season 2, I still think he's very convinced the Empire is the best way. I think he's still going to be loyal to them for some time, and as we know from the trailer, at some stage Cody's going to voice concerns that many of the clones no longer know how to feel about the Imperial regime. They've all lost so many brothers, the Empire's not going to want them forever. At first, Crosshair's going to disagree, saying that he believes the Empire is the way forward and what's best for the clones. He's still holding on to his famous saying, good soldiers follow orders, but with time, he's going to realise Cody was right, and we know this again from comments made by Brad Rao and D. Bradley Baker. And I should also say, guys, episode 12, The Outpost, is an all Crosshair episode. That episode is dedicated just to him, so tomorrow's episode and that one are vital, and the best thing is, there are 9 episodes in between them, so there's a lot of time for Crosshair to develop his story arc and eventually, hopefully, be redeemed. But there is always the unfortunate possibility of Crosshair dying, maybe sacrificing himself for his brothers. But themes of betrayal and belonging are still there, so I can't wait to see how the future episodes are going to deal with this. But I must say there is one final underlying question to all of this. How many seasons is the Bad Batch going to be? Because that's going to determine where Crosshair goes in this season. If it's going to be more than just 2, they're probably going to draw Crosshair's story out and leave it on a cliffhanger. Time will tell. And so now, my dear friends, in other Star Wars news, we've got a huge update for Skeleton Crew. This is from Bespin Bulletin, and they say Skeleton Crew is going to wrap filming in March. It was supposed to wrap up last month, 2 months after the Ahsoka show finished, but as reported by MakingStarWars.net, it was one of the messiest productions, mismanagement, mistreatment of staff, many of which were underpaid and overworked. Bespin also clarified they've not heard a definitive date, so it's entirely possible filming will continue past March if issues behind the scenes continue. So what does it mean for the release date? Well, it's very likely not to be in 2023 anymore, more likely 2024. Now, even when we assumed things were going well and production was originally wrapping in December, it was still very unlikely to be 2023, maybe a December release like the Book of Boba Fett, but now it's looking very, very unlikely. Bespin says the sets at California State University were struck last month in the run-up to the holidays after months of filming at the location. Crew members working on Skeleton Crew said they wish they could have worked on Ahsoka because by comparison, production on that show was a dream. Everything went smoothly, but for The Mandalorian Season 3 and Skeleton Crew, things were nothing short of a disaster. As I say, Bespin Bulletin are not sure either if it's still going to release this year. It is worth noting in some cases, Lucasfilm do have quick turnarounds, and last month, Skeleton Crew was featured in Coming in 2023, the Disney Plus promo. Fingers crossed, but don't expect it this year, and by the sounds of it, Lucasfilm really needs to do more about this mismanagement, mistreatment of workers, many of whom work long hours for very little pay. But even if we don't get Skeleton Crew this year, we still have so much Star Wars content, the Ahsoka show, Mandalorian Season 3 and the Bad Batch Season 2. So tomorrow, Episode 3, The Solitary Clone. As always guys, I will be doing a full episode breakdown and review, so we'll talk about it then. Before I go, my dear friends, I want to take this opportunity to plug my second channel, Meg's Cantina. Over there you'll find my Star Wars music mixes, and I just posted a new one, Padme's Ruminations from Revenge of the Sith. But if you're a Bad Batch fan, I also have tons of content there too, Crosshair's theme, Omega's theme, and more, so go check it out, the link is down there in the description. Otherwise, my dear friends, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you tomorrow. May the Force be with you always.